Hello, CNG 132 online course, the summer edition. Welcome back to week two. Week one looks like it was a success so far. The discussions look great. Um, I'm glad everybody, or most of us, had a chance to post these discussions and reply to the discussions. Like I said, there's so many different um, case projects out there that you can reflect on that have to do with like real life scenarios that get you thinking critically about situations and just how you've been a part of it, or how you are more aware of it now, or evaluating your personal life, your professional life. Um, but yeah, these turned out exactly how they should be. Um, when we go to the other part of the discussion, the lab discussion, keep working this like you guys are. Um, Putting up discussions based on where to find the labs. And I know as you go a little bit further on, there'll be more posts about um, maybe like, hey, at this step, the book says to do this, but with the software update, you need to do this. But be proactive. Help your fellow students out when you're going through these. Once again, going into the security, networking, IT field, part of I guess part of the jobs are finding the answers. I mean, as soon as one update goes, the material may not be the exact same again, and then therefore we'll need to find the answers. So start training yourself now to look for alternatives on how to accomplish the tasks. Once again, if you come across a lab, say 15E, um, actually that's Joe's case, but say you came across a project that the software is no longer supported, or the company was bought up by a larger company, just do a quick Google search and you'll be able to find similar software that is free to use for that topic. And then once you complete the labs, make sure to go to assignments, I should say the projects, make sure to go to assignments and submit it in project 1 and 2. I know we're trucking along at a quick speed this summer, and once again, I'm okay with sliding the due dates a little bit past their due, but make sure you're getting these projects in. The labs, the lab simulations, and the projects are really the meat of the course, including the discussions. By completing all three of these, or all four of these, I'm sorry, at 20% each, you should walk away in this class with a minimum of a B. And then doing the extra work, like I forgot what it was, doing the extra 10% will get you the rest up to that A grade. Let me go in the syllabus. So pick up kind of from the beginning of the semester. If we look at the syllabus, oops, uh, optional, and this is optional for everybody. The Larimer campus does do Microsoft Technology Associate certifications. They will be free, I believe, until the end of the summer semester, and then they will change to um, a paid platform. I don't know the end of that, but make sure you're after this course you go and take this MTA certification at the Larimer campus testing center. Um, Make sure that you go and with your student or with your financial aid, make sure to go get your Transcender 180-day access at at the Larimer campus bookstore. And let me do this. Oops. Here we go. And we go bookstore. Come on. So to get the 180-day Transcender, which is really turned into Kaplan now, um, go to the campus bookstores, go to Larimer Campus. And then we want to search 180 day. I'll have to figure this out, because it should have popped up with the Kaplan. So basically the Kaplan is rehearsal software to start preparing you guys for the Security Plus SYO 501 test. I'm going to have to research on what changed. It looks like the website changed slightly, so I'm going to have to look around. But basically, for $54, you get the rehearsal software access, and basically just keep preparing yourself for the Security Plus certification. And once you get that certification, you'll be ready to go into industry much more marketable to argue that $30 an hour job or even higher up paying job. Let's see. Here's the current breakdown of the grades. Once again, doing the projects from the text, the lab simulations, the lab and discussions. You should walk away from this course with at least an 80. There's no real special dates that we have off. Independence Day is the 4th. The campuses will be closed, but the online kind of school just kind of does its, will keep on going. Last day withdrawal with no refund, the 22nd of July. Last day to drop with a refund, June 6th. So we have a few more days for that. And last but not least, we'll jump into what we're doing for week 2. This is the old video. So we talk about cryptography, and this week we only cover one chapter because we're alternating weeks again. But this week we cover basic cryptography, and cryptography has been around for a very long time. One of the, I should say, one of the most recorded aspects of cryptography was used back in the Roman era, where they were concealing what was in a message through switching around letters. So A had a value of 1 to 26th, and then that number was actually transcribed to a different number. So maybe the A equals Z. I mean, that's an easy way to think about it. 1 would equal 26, so they'd transcribe it with a Z instead of an A when they were writing their I don't know, their plan or their message back and forth. But it's still really prevalent today with some topics of that. If we go ahead into MindTap, we'll see that cryptography can be stenography, it can be hash algorithms, it could be symmetric and asymmetric. And basically, and this is a good topic to understand too, symmetric and asymmetric. Symmetric, you'll be using the same key to conceal the message as you are to decode the message. So same key used to encrypt and decrypt, where asymmetrics, and this is a nice little exercise, you have access to someone's public key, but you only have access to your private key. So if I were to send, I'll pick on Joe Diana. So I want to send a letter to Joe, and I want to encrypt it. Well, I would use his public key to encrypt his message, send it to Joe. Joe would then receive the message and decrypt it with his private key, and vice versa. If Joe wanted to send me a message, he would use my public key to decrypt it, and then I would use my private key to unencrypt it. If Joe encrypted it with my public key, the same thing would work, because he has access to my public key, but he does not have access to my private key. Keep in mind that you cannot use, and what's the best way to put this? You cannot use two different people's keys to decrypt a message. Like if Joe encrypted it with his private key, I could not use my public key or my private key to unencrypt that message. I'd have to use his public key. Make sure you understand that. That is a more tricky way to get around. Explain different cryptographic attacks. List various ways cryptography is used. When we look at projects this week, you'll see that stenography, we can hide messages in pictures. We can break, we can give hash values to sentences, and that kind of bleeds over to next week, where if two different sentences or messages or chunks of data have a hash value, and that hash value is able to be duplicated, then there is a discrepancy on if that data or that value is really authentic, just because those hash values are exactly the same when they should be perfectly different. I'm glad to see this CLAF average really high. Good job so far. And once again, we're jumping into Unit 3 and 4. Or actually, I'm sorry, 3 this week. Next week will be 4 and 5. Keep plugging along. This is the summer semester. Like I said, it's going to be quick. It's going to be rough, but I have no doubt that everyone can complete it. Once again, keep on working on material. If you did it last week and couldn't get it in, make sure to get it in this week. I'd start working on last week first and then get to week 3. Go to those... Go to the case projects, make sure they're in by this weekend, and then we can go back to the case projects. Once again, we just have a few to choose from this week. Hopefully everyone's... that's exactly where I wanted to go. Hopefully everyone put up their discussion. I saw there's a few that might be missing, but this week we can go back. Oh man, I pushed the wrong button. But make sure you go down to use the full book, view chapters, go to chapter 3. I want to make that larger. Go to the case projects, Broken Shaw, compare cipher tools, lightweight cryptography, two-fish, blowfish, hash algorithm comparisons. One of my favorite ones to look at. One-time pad, Diffie-Hellman, USB device encryption, Lake Point Consulting Services. Some really, really good discussions to choose from this week. And once again, I want to go back to the grades. If you have any assignments that are outstanding, and I mark a 0, you can always come back and resubmit those. I'm okay with that. If you get a 0 on a lab or discussion and you say, you know what, I want to bring my grade up just a little bit, go back and do that. I'm not a person that likes to sit at the end of the semester and round everybody's grades up, so I give you guys the chance to choose your own grade as we go through this course. Once again, reach out to me through my Google account. Send me an email through D2L to D2L, or send me an email from your eWolf, basically to my eWolf, my version of eWolf. That works, but don't try to mail from the outside into D2L or from D2L to the outside world. It will not work because D2L is its own little private center. You guys should, I didn't see any emails stating that they were not able to complete Azure and on the Hub account, so you guys should have access to those. Make sure you're doing that. If there are any sort of problems, we'll just have to deal with them as we go. And I'm pretty close to my 15-minute mark. That was a long video. You guys have a good start to this week, and I'll check in again.